Rebecca, Molly, and Jack for their dedication to our movement. The O'Tooles have shown the potential of what Canada aspires to become both here and abroad.
I echo Shelby's comments and would like to give Scotian Rebecca for her support through Erin's public life. And to our adopted Nova Scotia, we rescued those in trouble on the sea all over my riding and Nova Scotia during his time in the Air Force. Yours is a life of service to Canada in the military, and as leader of our party. On
behalf of our caucus, our party, and on behalf of all Canadians, I would like to thank Erin, Rebecca, Maury, and Jack for everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to our screens for a word from Erin via video.
Thank you, Shelby and Rick Kiner. You're both outstanding members of Parliament and great friends. My fellow Canadians watching tonight, I would like to thank your recognition this evening and for the distinct privilege her Elizabeth II has hit our family hard. Like it has millions around the world. Find solace in that. I want to begin by tonight repeating, being elected to represent my community and becoming leader of the Conservative Party has been the honor of a lifetime. For a kid from Bowmanville raised value service, to get the chance to serve his country during a challenging time has been a true blessing. For too short of time, I had the privilege of leading the party confess fast principle, a party that threw coast to coast for the unique privilege of being invited into their lives, whether it was their service in a coffee shop in Doketown, New Brunswick, Centre in New Westminster, BC, or serving alongside tireless volunteers at Gurdwara in Brampton, Ontario. My love for this country has deepened the more I saw citizens in action. I am inspired by the true patriots who work hard, provide for them, and help. Their quiet confidence is the source of our country's success.
For me, it's been an honor. It was an honor to lead the Conservative Party of Canada and to meet Canadians in all walks of life across the country, from coast to coast, the Canadian fjords in Saguenay to every community I've visited. It was a privilege to meet so many Quebecers and Francophone Canadians with their concerns. I would like to thank the millions who have shown their confidence in me and in for the country.
Need to be united behind our next leader, because our country never before. The Conservative Party needs to be compassionate, because Canadians need to be more, to be strong, not with the strength to overpower our rights in our Conservatives put the unity of our country first, because the fabric of our federation, loss, fear, uncertainty, came to our shores 3 years ago as a health crisis, and frustrations are robust, weakening our institutions and harming our democracy. Social media makes it easier, but harder than ever convince a strong, compassionate, and united conservative party. All voices are heard.
Need a united party that will put the priority on our country. World, I should say, need a strong conservative.
Every grassroots member first, because then we can show Canadians that with unity there is prosperity for the small business owner in Nova Scotia, the oil patch worker in Alberta. With unity, there is reconciliation. With unity, there is also hope. A nurse returning to the hospital front lines can show Canadians that with unity, there is greatness of the local food bank volunteer. It will never be to shout that from the rooftops. And to my conservative united, compassionate conservative party leader who
Ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming our leader in the interim, the Honorable Candidacy.
Thank you. Wow. Very much nice. Wow. Thank you so much. I do want to begin by saying how sad I am at the passing of our beloved Queen, Elizabeth II. She served with honor. She really doubt that her will be as great of Queen Victoria, story of Canada. May we all, friends, may we all strive to emulate the beauty and the grace that she personified throughout. Michael and I are family during this time. Thank you so much, Dawn, and generous words and action. My heart is truly filled with gratitude. I've been very for many years as we worked together in our party. And like many good conservatives, disagree occasionally, but we always respected, we've been intensely loyal to our friendship and our cause, and that's what conservatives do. Sharing some tears, many dinners, and late night talks. And because of that, Dawn, you and Betty are lifelong friends to Michael and I, and we're very grateful for you. And thank you all. I look across this room and I say thank you all. I know so many of you. It's wonderful to see your faces, to see so many people that I've seen at conventions and campaigning and throughout the country. So thank you very much for your time. I know I do well when I thank you for the appreciation I've felt from all of you, not only this evening, but over the last 7 months, whether in airports or restaurants, out at the mall or at EDA events, through calls and emails and even some social media posts. I'm a strong message that our group's conservative memberships, the foundation of our party, you are hopeful and you are excited about the future and you are proud to be conservative. You are proud that we stand for fiscal responsibility, national unity, law and order, and freedom of expression and belief. Freedom. Not liberal life. And in addition, literally hundreds of thousands of more Canadians have joined and are feeling that same optimism and excitement. So, thank you for helping confirm to me and our Conservative caucus that we're on the right track by being a strong, consistent Conservative voice in all that we have said and all that we have done. My heart is filled with gratitude for this incredible cause. First of all, my leadership team made up of my deputy leader, merci beaucoup. Pour le bon travail que vous avez fait. Blaine Calkins, our rep, John Brassard, our MPs, Tom Commit, and Warren Stanley. You are all extraordinary. To the rest of us, including and their audience, and advice and strategy and deal with issues of the day. Thank you to my partner, Scott Reed, a fantastic job over the last several months. Ladies and gentlemen, our caucus is made up of so many smart, experienced, wise, and passionate individuals. And if there's one piece of advice I want to give to the new leader, whoever it is, this: respect, listen to, and trust our caucus. They will not let you down. Now, you know, every leader leaves a mark, and that pertains also. And I'm thinking of people like Deb. Give Deb a hand. She's doing a great job emceeing tonight. She opened the doors of Stornoway, used it as a working home, and starting the wise practice of meeting frequently there with MPs, supporters, and staff to hear and understand more thoroughly what they had to say. One of Deb's marks was open, or the vote is Ronna Ambrose, my dear friend Ronna. Ronna took over our party after our party suffered a difficult defeat. She brought hope and optimism to our party. With a broad appeal, Ronna attracted people to us, and women like me into positions of leadership, not as tokens, but because of merit. Ronna is a build who lifts people up. And then there's John Reynolds. Rumor has it John finally got the decaying kitchen redone at Stornoway. He wanted to take the political hit. But as urban legend has it, he accidentally put his foot through a rotten floorboard at Stornoway. And when he did, he said, "Enough is enough, I'm going to do it." And the official opposition residence with some new floors and a sturdy, durable chopping block kitchen counter built to last. John Reynolds left mark as a steady and experienced. And then there was Dr. Grant. Grant was our first interim leader after Stephen Harper and Peter MacKay led us to unification. Grant's mark was a solid, sober pluralism that was so critically required in the early of a new party. And so to all of my predecessors, all of the leaders of our party, both permanent and in the interim, you have our deep and respectful appreciation for the strength and the success of the party you helped build. So, yes, go and give them all a hand. We all leave a mark, and we want it to be lasting, and we want it to be a good mark. And I hope I've been able to leave my mark as well. I want to be remembered as a leader who helped bring unity and pride to our party. I want to be remembered as a leader who helped us move away from identity politics and labeling in our party towards unity and disagreement. Unity while still holding different views. Unity, not uniformity. So, friends, my fellow Conservatives, as I leave, I want to once again ask you, please don't allow yourself, whatever kind of Conservative you are, to be broken into groups and labeled. Do not descend in the cauldron of identity politics and division in our own party. Do the opposite. Talk and walk, even when you disagree with each other. Actually, when you disagree with each other. You as and Canadians. I love this party. It was so interesting. Dawn started, and I can't imagine. I cannot believe that I stand here before you as to be able to be here, but to be able to tell young people the opportunity that they have, not just young people, people of all ages, to be able to get involved and make a difference for you. So it was with mixed emotions that I announced earlier this week that I will not be seeking re-election. After 14 remarkable years and 5 elections, I've decided it's time to open new doors and pursue other interests and passions. I'm Conservative, doing all I can for our leader and our party. And leader, tonight is the night. The night we're going to find out who our members have selected to be of Canada. John, Leslyn, Pierre, and that you and your team. Thank you so much. We will support our new leader. We will help them. We will advise to flourish and pave the way for a government. Now, I have served for 14 years, and on one hand, it does seem like a long time. On the other, it really as a volunteer and as that I'm leading from this stage as the person in whom was trust of leadership. And so I want to say a special thank you to Manitoba, to my constituents, to my home, to the people of Portage Lisgar. Manitobans are great people. They are resilient, compassionate, hardworking, and generous. And I want to thank all of those who supported me, not only in the 7 months, but those who helped bring me in the first place. A very special thank you goes out to Mr. Wayne Benson, the executive and a fellow Manitoban. Wayne, out of retirement, he took on the job of executive director during a very difficult time. In fact, it was literally when the emergency called. So in the literal middle of a so-called emergency, Wayne Benson forward. What a hero he was to me. With the help of Rob Batherson, Eodi, James Dodds, and a host of volunteers, they guided us through this leadership. I want to say thank you to each one of you. To my family, my siblings, and especially children, Lucas, and your children, thank you for sharing your mom and me, your daughter and sister with the country. And to my been a true partner and companion to me your journey as leader. He has worked with, he has served, and he gave to me, and he give to you. And I want to thank you so much, my love. And finally, again, thank you to my wonderful caucus, the members of parliament that are elected across this country to represent as conservative members of the honor of my political life to have been your leader. Thank you to all of you. I am blessed. God bless all of you. God bless the King. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Well, when you're a volunteer, getting to do a vaccine with Candace Michael and James Dodd, Chair of Conservative Fund Canada. And I don't know if the surprise got out. We tried to keep it from you, Candace. I wanted to thank Candace for her work as our leader in the interim, 15 years and counting of dedicated service to the people of Portage-Lesgar. So here's a special announcement. On behalf of James Dodds, the chair of the Conservative Fund, our party is proud to make a contribution in the name of the Honourable Candace Bergen to Turning Leaf Support Services. And please go online and find out about this amazing organization. I think one thing that shines through about Candace Bergen is Turning Leaf Support Services est un organisme de bienfaisance cher à Candace.
Is to Candace Heart, which help people who are with high risk and with the mental diseases, and she helps them when they're homeless or were the victims of sexual exploitation. These are some of the obstacles that these people have to confront every day.
Everything Candace Bergen has done for our party, not only since becoming a member of Parliament in 2008, top February, keeping everything running smoothly, ready for our next leader. Thank you, Candace, for everything.
We should have caught you.
Thank you. And one of my favorite Thank you, Candace, for everything. Close to the moment that you've actually all been waiting for. We're not offended. We don't really think you came here just, this is sort of like high school graduation. You know, you get through all the stuff, and then comes the good part. We're getting close to that moment. Valerie and I have had the honor of serving as members on LEOC. We are now 678,000. It just gets bigger and bigger. We are ready, focused, energized, and we're united to bring Canada back to what it can be and what it should be better. We're getting ready to tap in to what we're hearing from Canadians. Canadians are telling us we want and we need change, and we tonight here are prepared to give it to Canadians. So now, on with the show. If Ian Brook has every single possible job in this party, I'll be close. A long-time dedicated Conservative, he served as Prime Minister Harper's first Chief of Staff and critical of the Harper government. When asked our party again, Ian didn't hesitate. A very long time. And when I heard that he was chairing LEOC and I was asked on it, I said, yes, I'll do that. There. So I hope we could agree that this is going to be the last leadership race for a life.
Yeah. Cette course a établi un record, plus de 678 000 Canadiens.
More than 678,000 Canadians for everywhere arms to people who never members of a political party, and each member brings new energy, and members were represent each region and the makeup of our party. I'm proud to represent Quebec as Vice Chair.
Committee was a and the party from coast to coast to coast. Leadership Committee. Member that I served with committed untold hours and taking time away from their families, from their and from their lives to make sure that we had a fair leadership election. The process and everything that involved the running of this leadership contest took place in consultation with the campaigns. Everything that went on regarding the validation of ballots, circulation of ballots, and later on the presence of scrutineers from each of the campaigns under the watchful eye of our returning officer and his deputy chief returning officers, and from the personnel on loan from the party. Nous devons remercier
to thank the party staff for long hours and the devotion that they gave to the work of our party. We owe a debt of gratitude, and also to their families, which made this process as smooth as possible for everybody.
This evening. There's our remarkable range of candidates, and there are thousands of organizers and volunteers from coast to coast that recruited all of these new. Each candidate and their teams and their experienced volunteers brought ideas to recruit Canadians. The party staff, hundreds of thousands. We got more than 670,000 ballots to our members. We got them all back to be counted as possible. I want to thank their teams for their hard work. I hope every candidate, every volunteer work they did during this race. I thank the National Council for the confidence that they showed in our committee and our team, and along with that, our thanks to Kate Bergen for her extraordinary support and her personal friendship to me. My predecessors, we got co-chairs of the past, Dan Null and Lisa Ray, for their extraordinary expertise and track record that we got when we fought. Thankfully, together, we met the challenge toward breaking membership, along with the trust of our members. Volunteer Don Nightingale, our Chief Returning Officer and a Director of the Conservative Fund Canada, and my dear friend Wayne Benson, the leader of the party, to come forward and review some of the relevant rules and outline the role of Deloitte. Don and Wayne are both former three-term national councillors of our party, and like me, somehow when the call comes, they just don't know how to say no. Of our party, they put in tireless hours to deliver this race. I'm really thankful that they did agree when they were asked. Don and Wayne, please.
Not to be nervous. I remember well in January when I answered the phone. It's Candace. I need you to come to Ottawa as executive director of the party. This was not how I plan to spend the next 7 months of my retirement. I inherited a staff at headquarters that, for the most part, had been working from home for the better part of the previous 2 years. Personally, I had a very steep learning curve ahead of me. However, I will say this: without the commitment, dedication, and unwavering support of our staff, we would not be today. Staff stepped up each and every day, faced the challenges that come with any leadership contest with determination and resiliency, and got the job done as they had already done twice before. But let's not forget, this time our membership tripled in size, tripling the way. Yes. Every task along the way was similarly unified. Every single member of our party needs to know how valuable our staff is and was to the country, and all to have been part of their team. I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. We could not have done it without each and every of you.
Thank you, Wayne. When you asked me to serve on your idea, how interesting it turned out to be. I didn't foresee, and I don't think any of us foresaw, the unprecedented interest of Canadians in this leadership race and the historic numbers. My microphone not working, let me go here. And the historic membership number in the Conservative Party.
Oh, you're right, Don. Add to that, despite the many challenges we faced over the 7 months, it has been an absolute pleasure to work with you and Ian on this leadership race. I think we were a really good team.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with that, Wayne. It was a real pleasure. I'd like to say a few words, ladies and gentlemen, about my duties as Chief Returning Officer. The duties of the Returning Officer in this leadership race are primarily to monitor the process, to ensure compliance with our Constitution and with rules and procedures determined by the Leadership Election Organizing Committee. And I'd like to take a moment to remind everyone of a couple of more important rules in this race. This race will be on a one-member, one-vote point system. Well, what does that mean? It means that each of the 338 ridings in Canada are allocated 100. The Constitution, however, states that only ridings that have achieved a minimum of votes cast will receive the full complement of 100 points. Leadership candidates are allocated points based on the percentage of votes they receive in each riding. 30% of the votes means 30 points. A leader is to take a majority of points across the country. If no candidate receives a majority of points on the first ballot, we will hold the second ballot. This is what is called a transfer. On the ballot, the candidate receiving the fewest points is dropped, and that candidate's points are reallocated to the second preference. Vote totals, or the point totals rather, candidates. This process is repeated until one candidate receives a majority of points and is declared the winner.
I would like to add that the point totals at the close of voting are verified on as CRO and independently by Deloitte LLP. The results are then at this podium. One excerpt from our the vote rule appointed Deloitte to modify election process. Deloitte independent advisor and observer for the 2022 Canada and was responsible for the activities adhering to all applicable election rules, including the credentials rules.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has arrived. Ian and I and obtain the vote results for round one. I think everything goes according to plan. We will be back here on stage in 10 to 15 minutes with the results. They have not been calculated yet. We're going to press the button here to give us the results. So don't.
All right, Peter Van Dusen in Ottawa, watching along with you. The whole program is in. You see some of, we'll show you these cans, Pure Polyev and so on as we get set to hear the leadership results. Pretty commentators, Tim Powers, Susan Smith, and talk about a bit of a momentum killer. We have the room for 85 minutes. We do a program.
So, folks, basically, based on what you heard is, well, they haven't, well, got the result yet, but of course, basically, the moment that we've been waiting for, because, well, it is pretty much obvious that our Revolution News is being on the campaign trail also, like throughout the campaign session, like the campaign season over the 6 months. So what that means here, folks, is that well, Revolution News went over GDA, in the across the Greater Toronto area. So basically, Vaughan, Toronto, St. Catharines, and stuff. Well, obviously, even though there's part that Revolution News was not able to cover some events of the leadership race, but obviously, Revolution News did its utmost best to just gonna take off the headphone here. So yes, basically here, folks. Yes, what I was saying here is, well, Revolution News actually did its utmost best to go around Ontario and cover the leadership race. And of course, it is pretty much unfortunate that there's parts that the Revolution News didn't cover because, um, first of all, there was not enough funds to cover the expenses, and well, the other part here is primarily due to the vaccine mandate. And of course, we know how we've been barred from hopping on the train and planes before June. But obviously, each candidate went around the country and hold um, rallies all across the country, from British Columbia to Montreal, Quebec. But of course, you just seen here that they are guarded in Ottawa to see the result. And of course, here we are at Revolution News. Like here I am at Revolution News. I mean, just to be specified, we like to be specific, providing you a live coverage. While it is very much obvious that this whole leadership race started when the Conservative caucus voted to oust Aaron O'Toole because the matter of fact that he refused to support the Freedom Convoy. And over the course of 2 years here, we know that the Conservative Party of Canada has not been speaking out well against the mandates, against the lockdowns, and so forth. And obviously, as far as I can remember, Pierre Poilievre was the very first one to actually stand up against censorship bill that being introduced by the Trudeau Liberals. So, um, well, it is for the most basic of the stuff that, um, well, even though um, there's some division that's been taking place inside the party, but well, each candidate has their own platforms because, well, here's the thing here, folks. Um, all the four candidates, so basically Jean Charest, Scott Aitchison, Roman Barber, and Pierre Poilievre, um, actually stated when it comes to the issue of abortion that they're pro-choice. But um, Leslie Lewis was the only one to actually say that she is pro-life. So, well, obviously, as you heard in the like you heard in the explanation that occurred there, that if in the first round candidates didn't get a majority points, then they will go to the second round, and then the second, where a candidate that has lowest point will actually lose that round and be eliminated from the ballot. So meaning the votes will be transferred to the another candidate of your choice. And then um, the third round, meaning um, whoever, whoever candidate amongst the five, amongst the remaining four, um, has the lowest uh, votes will be primarily eliminated from the ballot. It gonna go on until the last candidate remains, meaning whoever that candidate actually remains on the last round and actually went on it. That, basically, whoever candidate remains standing on that last round, meaning that candidate will be the new leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, meaning he or she will be declared winner of this race. So we're gonna actually see what else is going on at the hallway at the show center in Ottawa.
Not just a pit bull.
What will you be listening for, Ann?
Well, you pointed out the fact that there was a fairly significant cheer during the video when he came on.
So basically, before we get back on the here on the live stream, I just want to elaborate on other factors. Basically, according to some people, basically most people that voted for the PPC in the last federal election, that CPC didn't have enough courage. Like they were actually a globalist and so forth. But of course, before I go on to the, before I continue on with my commentary here on the facts that have been occurring here in the past 2 years, I'm just gonna be reading some comments here. So this comment is coming from Christina also. Conservative, we do not want to hear from Aaron O'Toole, the traitor and holding Canadians from freedom. Get with it, please. And here's another one. Same person. So, shame, we are all God's people. Why label him a black Canadian? Maybe because a politician only know how to divide. Well, obviously, Aaron O'Toole is a traitor. I mean, he is a liberal in conservative clothing and rhetoric. Because it is very obvious that he proclaims to be a true conservative while initially not standing up for conservative values. And obviously, the very important conservative value is freedom. So, if you do, basically, there's other reality of the broader factor here that what you've seen that Joshua is a former liberal premier of Quebec, and of course he just brushed the like, the valuable conservative principle, which is freedom. He said that there's other stuff that are more important than freedom, but for sure that evaluate some outrage among conservatives. So, well, and the part here is, well, obviously, Pierre Poilievre is the guy who actually kind of come out 2 years later, and they just standing up for freedom a few months ago when the truckers came, when it kind of became popular While on the other hand, you see it with Roman Barber. Uh, there is a thing with him, which is straight to the point. He is been speaking out 2 years ago or so, like pretty much January of last year, and well, obviously that well, yes, Doug Ford initially kicked him out of the caucus, and now he actually bringing uh, the fight for freedom to the national level, maybe to the federal level. So that is why you see there's a whole uh, divided vote. Like, basically, um, there's also a allegation that well, yes, some of the campaign uh, members of Pierre Poilievre are members of the World Economic Forum. While also there's a allegation that Pierre Poilievre himself is a member of the WEF, while Pierre Poilievre said that he is not a member of the WEF. So, well, basically, Pierre Poilievre said that he doesn't know why they put uh, a profile of him in the website. They really put him on the website, even though he was not a member of the WEF, and they asked to take down the profile from the website. And sorry, but they asked the WEF, and of course the other part here is well, during the campaign trail, basically throughout the conservative leadership race, well, one of the very important issues that I've asked to one of the candidates is regarding about the World Health Organization pandemic treaty. And of course, I got the chance to ask that to Dr. Leslie Lewis, whereas she actually said that it is highly concerning. Like, she has a big concern for it. And of course, initially, the World Health Organization has taken down the plan for the pandemic treaty. It did went through, and of course, there's a higher possibility that they're gonna try to put the pandemic treaty again. So, um, well, the other parts here that I would like to say in regards about the leadership race, well, Pierre Poilievre has initially stated that if he becomes Prime Minister of Canada, like if he becomes the next leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, he will get rid of the gatekeepers, i.e., the bureaucrats. So, of course, not only that, he also stated that he will defund the CBC. But obviously, Maxime Bernier has also stated that, like, has stated the same thing, defunding the CBC. And of course, every time Pierre Poilievre actually says that he will defund the CBC, right through his moment. I mean, like straight up in his rally, there's a overwhelming standing ovation, and the crowd goes wild. And obviously, not only that, well, I've covered the leadership race events. I mean, the campaign events in Toronto, Vaughan, St. Catharines. There's also in Pickering, and of course Mississauga, Brampton, basically all over the places. And here's the other part here that I would like to initially uh, play here. So I just want to show a clip. It is one of my coverage of Leslie Lewis. So I initially asked her the biggest issue at that time. And of course, just see for yourself the answer that she gave me when I asked her the question if she has any concerns about the WHO pandemic treaty.
Personally, in my life, clinical depression, and you're not in your right mind saying, yeah, you know what, give me that bill. Yes. And now Trudeau and the Liberals created this new, they get it to a new level now, where even a depressed person, we, because you can help somebody die.
Oh, here we go.
Life policy. The majority of Canadians believe that. And so the World Health Organization.
Maybe just with Revolution News. And just a quick question here, Dr. Lewis. Do you have any concern in regards about the World Health Organization pandemic treaty?
Yes. So the World Health Organization, actually, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live on that on Wednesday. And the World Health Organization has a World Pandemic Treaty, which when it comes in effect, what will happen is that our Constitution will literally be suspended. And so the World Health Organization pandemic. So, for example, decisions like they can determine whether you're locked down in your home, whether you can travel outside of your home, the city, where you can leave your country, the type of medication that will all be, and it is basically what it does is our unelected. And when the World Health Organization, when that treaty comes and these decisions are put in place, you cannot go to a decision because they didn't make it. So it is undermining our democracy. We have to stand up. And let them know that
So of course, there you have it. Basically, that's what Dr. Leslie Lewis said to me. Like the answer that she gave to me when I asked her about the WHO pandemic treaty. But here's the other part here, folks, is that basically, well, yes, I had also I got the chance to um, ask some questions to Scott Aitchison. While some of the answers that he gave me was not totally satisfying, I would totally say that just not enough courage to just actually stand by the word that he said. So, um, well, of course, I'm just gonna give you another clip. Like, I'm gonna be showing another clip here, and this is the exclusive interview that I had with Scott Aitchison when he came to Toronto. So, looks like we got a update. It looks like a back. So, we're gonna actually get back to it later if there's still time.
Minister to Canada.
The next Prime Minister of Canada. The Honourable Pierre Poilievre.
Over 68% of the vote.
Thank you. Thank you. Share this. Thank you. Although our
Share the same values, but our life was is different.
In 1995, in a working class neighborhood in the east end of Montreal. Is that enough?
Immigrated here in 1995 in Montreal in the Maisonneuve de la Gare.
Un orgullo de poder ser una voz fuerte para
vegetables because that's what he had to do to feed his family. Père est passé de porter des complets et à gérer une banque.
Father, who was a bank manager, with old clothes, and he went to pick up vegetables to feed his family.
Hard work, and that there is no greater dignity than to provide for your own family.
The Galindo family, which is here tonight, taught us that one has to work hard, and there's no
My father. Siblings went all from their humble beginnings, including McDonald's, to a practice, proud member of the Canadian. I am imaginer ça.
That's
He was born in Calgary, mother. She gave Pierre to two wonderful school teachers from Saskatchewan. And again, l'histoire de mon mari est un parent.
the history of my husband is slightly different. He was born in Calgary of a teenage mother who had he was adopted by two wonderful teachers of elementary school in Saskatchewan.
It is not a luxury, but a way of
When our families go to and make you to school.
This is the leader of the Conservative Québec et votre prochain Premier ministre.
And the next Prime Minister, my husband. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
On one here at the passing of our beloved Queen. Too many words, the Queen. Every conjure up more than a picture. They also stress the idea of decency and though she might have recoiled at the thought. Was the world's most famous in her 2013 she virtue we most cherish. And above all else, service. Though not unaccepted, is nonetheless, we felt we knew her. We felt that her strengths were ours. The strengths of a country which, by good fortune and God's grace, call home.
members were only 2 other ridings for a total of 8 ridings. This was a Pierre Poilievre landslide win with this result. And you heard the speech tonight. I think it tells you a little bit of, the narrative of an election campaign. He started off, Tim, emphasizing freedom. I thought he really made the point he's trying to make by saying Canadians don't need a government who can run their lives. They need a government who can run a passport. Make of what you heard from Pierre Poilievre.
Well, first of all, he's got the win that he wants. It's comprehensive. So if there's any backbiting,
So, yeah. Sorry about that. I didn't realize that my mic was muted. Sorry about that. So, what Pierre Poilievre actually idea of getting rid of the government gatekeepers, freedom, and of course her speech that also vowing to get rid of the American. And it is the part of the Pierre Poilievre initially also well, he will actually build more homes and of course get rid of carbon tax and tackle just inflation as he calls it as. But one of course part here about Pierre Poilievre is he also mentions about the Canadian Bill of Rights, about John Diefenbaker. So basically there's a type of debate between charter and freedom. Because it is very obvious that was enacted by John Diefenbaker, while the charter was being enacted by Pierre L. So stands on freedom. Like, freedom is the thing that actually is spewing throughout his campaign. So basically, there's other videos that I haven't showed you, which includes video of him talking to about before he ran in the leadership race, was the shadow minister for there's a problems with the internet connection, and of course I've been dealing with this stuff for almost every day. This throughout when they finish. Basically, as they were starting to members of Conservative Party this year, uh, June 3rd. I think it was June initially before that. And is on air. Well, I'm seeing here. There was a bit of way there. For this way or you know, actually maybe um, see the things that occurred under the leadership of Erno Tool. What I mean about that is that well, we're gonna see if well, the Conservative Party of Canada will be standing up to the Conservative Party. I mean, like to the conservative values. And I mean about that is under the leadership of Pierre Poilievre. Just to be more specific. And of course, the other part here is that, of course, we're gonna actually try to see if well, Pierre Poilievre is a true conservative. What I mean about that is that we're gonna see if he will truly uphold the very important values of conservatives, which is, of course, freedom. And well, basically, hopefully, Pierre Poilievre will stick to his word and not be like Erno Tool, who is a liberal in a conservative clothing. So, um, of course, I'm gonna read this now. This is, this comment coming from Ryan PPC, globalist, every damn one. Every single MP voted yes with Justin Trudeau on the Paris Accord. No way not to be trusted. And of course, we're gonna actually see if in the next federal election, conservative have more chance of winning because, um, well, for me to be honest with you here, folks, if the Conservative Party of Canada, under the leadership of Pierre Poilievre, actually sticks to the continue to be this way, well, maybe they could increase. There a higher chance that they will increase their chance of winning the next federal election. But um, my apologies. Sorry about that. My apologies. So once again, we're gonna actually see if Justin Trudeau will call a federal election, a federal election, and dissolve the parliament. Who knows? But I think the parliament will be opening up next week. So yes, what I mean about that is I think they're gonna be coming back from break next week. So the other part here, well, we're gonna actually go through some other videos here. Basically, it's all the coverage that I made, and of course, this is the very last one that I've covered. And this one also, like this final coverage of the race. The Roman Barber event. I asked him, well, what about the postal workers? So it would be actually much more better if you're gonna see the whole video for yourself.
What I say, Bafton Dockley.
Address the
We can't move on. We can't get over this mental health trauma that we're all feeling because it's still sitting on top of us.
So basically, the workers are it. There's some people at the Canada Post still not able to come back at work. So how would you address the fact that there's still people who still not able to come back to the workforce because of the choice that they made?
Like I said, it's a terrible thing. I try to protect them by passing a law to try and protect workers. Now, as I said in the beginning of this, I will pass legislation that will make it illegal for anyone to impose a single job. Everybody needs to come back. Last question.
So, well, basically, I just had to cut that off, like, just trim it, so it will not be pretty much longer, kind of very long. But of course, here's the part here. You see, Roman Barber actually said that he tried his best when he was still the MPP for York Center to pass legislation that would protect workers, just in jobs bill. But of course, it is unfortunate that Doug Ford has killed the bill. So obviously, now that Pierre Poilievre is the new leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, we're gonna see if there's any chances Roman Barber will have any position in his leadership. But obviously, we don't know yet if Roman Barber has any plan to run for the federal election. But that's the thing that we need to see here. And also, the other part that I'm gonna try to make here is, well, basically, sorry about that. Yes, I lost my train of thoughts. Any events here, folks? Well, basically, throughout the ways, well, Pierre Poilievre, Roman Barber, Leslie Lewis, Joshua and Scott Aitchison and Patrick on went across the country, but of course, just like I said here earlier, excuse me, well, when the Conservative Party leadership organizing committee is on the process of printing out ballots and of course distributing ballots to the eligible members, the fact that they decided to disqualify that account, and of course, Patrick Paul says like it's curtailing democracy, blah 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 blah. And of course, there's video of Rebel News actually caught Patrick Paul in the hot water. And of course, the Patrick Paul campaign appealed, but of course, it was being rejected. So, the other factor here, yes, that I'm gonna be trying to get into the exclusive interview that I had with Scott Aitchison. Because obviously I didn't get the chance to show it to you earlier. But here we go. The leader of the Conservative Party and the next Prime Minister into regards about the inflation and of course the out of control money thing.
Well, the biggest thing we can do at the federal level is to get the budget back under control and stop the Bank of Canada printing extra money. We need to stop borrowing money because that's causing huge inflationary pressures on our economy. Now, inflation is also a global issue, so we need to be working with our global allies and our partners as well. But those are the things we can do specifically right here in Canada.
And the other stuff here is that what your plan into regards about the governor of the or what?
I think the governor of the Bank of Canada is doing a great.
So, of course, I just paused it for a little moment because that is just one of the answers that that is just one of Scott Aitchison's answers in the answers that he gave me, and of course, I wasn't satisfied with it because, of course, surely it doesn't really sort of change the fact that, um, based on my opinion, Justin Trudeau is using the Bank of Canada as his personal ATM. So um, he said that the Bank of Canada governor is doing a great job, and well, basically, I'm just gonna continue on showing to you, showing you this interview.
There's a process and continues to do so.
Stars, i.e., what you do if you become the Prime Minister of IE in the first day?
If I was Prime Minister today, I would certainly end the mask mandates for travelers and make sure that we're aligned with our allies there as well.
So, actually, for me, when he said that he didn't actually specify if he gonna actually pass any legislation to make it happen, or he just gonna ban it without passing any legislation.
I would actually look very closely at our healthcare system. If COVID has taught us anything, it is that our healthcare system is fragile. One of the reasons why we had lockdowns. And so the federal government helped create this healthcare system with a promise to pay 50% of the cost. We have never lived up to that promise, and that's part of the problem we got ourselves into. And so we need to fix our healthcare system. And Dr. Theresa Tam, I think, is a fine public.
And of course, that's another one that I wasn't totally satisfied on. Because of course, he said, like you heard what he said, Dr. Theresa Tam is a fine public health officer. And obviously, she's not. Theresa Tam must be fired. And of course, just take a look on the irreparable damage that Theresa Tam has done to Canadians. And of course, they won't change the fact that she said that if you're kind of having sex, blah 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 blah, you should wear a mask during sex. And that is just ridiculous. But of course, that answer I found it totally ridiculous because once again, he said Dr. Theresa Tam is a fine public health officer, even though Theresa Tam is not a fine public health officer. No, she's not. And it is very obvious that majority of the people in the freedom movement hates her.
Everybody's done a very good job. It's important to remember that public service work for the people with all the advice given to us.
And one last thing here, Scott. So, what is your plan in regards about the federal vaccine mandate that prevents unvaccinated people from getting out of the country, flying around the country, and also what is your plan in regards about the digital ID, and of course
It is time to end those for sure.
And
World Health Organization and their discussions?
Yeah.
I think those discussions begin today, but I think it's important for us to know that no one has been written yet, and so it's important not to prejudge whatever discussions might take place. But Canada's not giving up any of its sovereignty over its health its people to any world organization. I think we'll let those discussions take place and we'll see what they come up with before we pass judgment what they're suggesting.
And also the last part here is that the arrive can. What is your plan on it? Like, do you have any plans of getting rid of the arrive can?
Of the which, sorry?
Arrive can.
Yeah, that needs to go as well. It's all part of ending the vaccine mandates. I agree.
Hey, folks. Basically, well, that's just the two things that I didn't like the most about what he said. So, um, well, of course, now looking about Olive, well, he surely went on many things here. Olive, here's the thing here, folks. Every time I go to his event, like, on the events that I went to, and just to be more specific here, folks, all of the events that has been held by BMODF, I didn't get any chance to ask him questions. Yep, you heard it right. I didn't get any chance to ask Pierre Oliev any hard-hitting questions or any questions at all.
The fish and the seas, they all have to maximize their use of scarce resources. The great economist Thomas Sowell had to ignore the number one rule of economics.
And, well, of course, just the other part here, well, they usually promise to get rid of the carbon tax. And, well, obviously, he's been speaking about the gas prices throughout his campaign and so forth.
Right? The politician doesn't have to worry about scarcity because he passes on his costs in taxes, borrowing, and inflation everyone else. I want him to internalize that scarcity, to make the same kind of trade-offs that you have to as a small business owner or as both there. The budget. That's scarcity. Like that one, man. All right. That's the reality of economic life. Every creature in the universe. This is an organization that did $400 billion of transactions with large financial institutions over the last 2 years. Many of those transactions profiting banks, insurance companies, pension funds, and other financial institutions, both no independent audit oversight to make sure that they're acting in our interest. And that will be over. We will reinstate a common sense accountability regime. Furthermore, after the Bank of Canada's failure to maintain low inflation, the last thing they do is give them more power. Yeah, they're now studying the idea of central bank digital, right? So we already have digital money. It's called your bank deposit. We have credit cards.
And of course, the thing also about the digital currency, he talks about it, he speaks against it. And, well, basically here, folks, the thing that I would like to say about it is, well, he's pretty much against the World Economic Forum, and he also stated that if he becomes Prime Minister, not a single of his cabinet minister will be attending any will not be attending WEF conferences. So basically, events that being held by the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, he vows that no ministers of, no cabinet minister of his government will be going there if indeed he becomes the next prime minister.
PayPal, transfers, etc. That already exists without the central bank money. So what's the difference? This will the bank to take retail deposits. So everyday Canadians would then be asked to deposit their money in peaceful protests on Parliament Hill recently, right? Those people's bank accounts. Could you imagine the political power? We have to get rid of the gatekeepers that stand in the way of making things in this country. Let's start with housing. You know that we have fewer homes per capita than any other country in the G7, even though we have the most land to build on. We have the fewest people and the most land in all the G7, and yet we have not enough houses to put people in. We have so much land in this country. We have more land where there's no one than we have land where there's anyone. You spread us out evenly, we each have 30 NFL-sized football fields to ourselves. If you're all spread out, see, he likes that idea. Either he's a football fan or he's a hermit. He doesn't want to be far away from other people. But either way, the reality is we have more land than anyone else. We should be able to house our people affordably. So what's standing in the way? Well, the answer.
So, just to pause it right there. So also, you've seen it that he also focusing his attention on the housing crisis, and also in the matter of fact that well, the houses pretty much becoming unaffordable. So but it doesn't change the fact that well, the housing prices has skyrocketed. But of course, I'm initially gonna show you a few more videos before we end this. So here's Big Roman Barber. And
how people start and grow their families. I don't think you pay for that. That's denomination because of someone's views. It doesn't mean that I'll prevent someone from introducing legislation. That's your inherent right as a parliamentarian. I will always protect that. And finally, I will protect people's ability to vote their conscience. I was made to vote against my conscience, and I will never subject a member of parliament to that. And I will ensure that when it comes to vote on matters of conscience, it will always be a free vote. That's how we unite. We accept each other back, we accept that we're a big tent, and that is the only way. The other side, they get together on election day. It doesn't matter what kind of differences they have. They know very, very well how to organize and get us. Actually, this is a subject matter that I switch in a little bit. And then I have the students debate what's in six, where you have small parties in Israel right now, for instance. The Prime Minister of Israel won 5% of the seats and yet. And now, to all of you that decided not to vote Conservative this time and vote for another party, I'll say I'm sorry. If the Conservative Party did not stand up for you against lockdowns, against passport.
So yeah, basically, when he was holding his meet and greet event at Ford, he initially stated that he will apologize. And I think he actually said it multiple times. If you decided to vote in the last federal election, you decided to vote for another party, like the People's Party of Canada, he will apologize if he becomes the next leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, and like, well, say sorry, the Conservative did stand for you during the lockdowns and so forth. But well, of course, is the I mean, this is the very first coverage of Dr. Leslie Lewis Meet and Greet event that I made.
Party for divulging confidentiality, and on top of
First here, folks. Oh, sorry. That was my intro, but
the Canadian people have lost confidence in our government, have lost confidence in institutions like the government, and we need to work at regaining the trust of the people.
Yes.
This is so exciting. I'm really enjoying this. I'm going to take you back to the 2020 leadership race. When I was an unknown political person, an outsider, I wasn't even in politics. I had no seat. And imagine embarking on politics and saying that you are going to start by running for the leader of a party. To earn a living, to work government where we need free, to raise your children in accordance with your values and not by the dictates of the government.
so yeah, basically, there you go. So she actually went on and like said that based on your value, not the dictates of the government, and well, it is pretty much fair enough, if you will. So, but initially, once again, throughout on his campaign trail, he actually went on and like he's saying he would defund the CBC, but of course, this is the last thing before we wrap things up. We gonna actually see through it if he will actually able to defund the CBC if he becomes the next Prime Minister of Canada. And well, obviously here, folks. Surely I wasn't able to cover Jean Charest, but initially there's a type of allegation on the Patrick Mau's campaign that he actually receiving a corporate donation, and of course that is a big no-no. So of course, surely that has led to him being disqualified from the leadership race. But of course, here, folks, basically, I'm just gonna try to show you some videos. I mean, some documentaries that being produced by Rebel, and well, basically, just stick with me for a little moment. Um, well, of course, I'll be right back here, folks. well, I'm back here, folks. So, well, all Rebel News has actually made a documentary movie in regards about the happenings that occurred in Ottawa during the Freedom Convoy. Whereas, of course, um, Trudeau initially enacted the Emergency Act, of course, to trample on the Freedom Convoy, those peaceful protesters. And that thing alone was totally despicable. And of course, I'm just showing you the trailers to this documentary. So, well, basically, just to be honest with you here, folks, um, so,
we started off this calling and taking back the takeaway. So we're going to restore them.
Lots of people came here wanting to only do it many days. Like a lot of people now are running on days and days in Ottawa. So
I am not leaving until we get what we want. We're not going to give up. So, this documentary will be available pretty much the week after next week. So basically, September 19, and um, well, there's another documentary that Rebel News has produced. So this one is about the former rebellion. Initially, farmers initially pretty much the farmer rebellion. It goes forward, and of course, before it has been going on for years now. And of course, it is a type of inspiration that they got for the Freedom Convoy. Of course, the viewers, the message that they're actually sending to the Mark Rutte regime is, well, they want, they do not actually take leave them alone. And it's really Uh, even though
increase prosperity and improve
float. I'm afraid it will be a civil war. Civil war is going to start.
Popular civil war.
I think there's going to be farmers today or tomorrow. They go to the. If you don't know, we come to you. Follow the farmers a bit. If they draw a line in the sand, they draw a line in the sand. Going to be
sorry about that. So yeah, basically, yes, it is just a matter of factor that, well, yep, the grocery stores in Netherlands are going empty. Basically, the shelves there are pretty much empty. No food, and of course, the other message that the Dutch farmers are sending here: no farmers, no food, and well, you just seen how it is actually affecting the um, you know economy of Netherlands. The conservative Twitter page actually posted this kind of one article. So you can there and the thing that I'm gonna be showing you is a tweet, kind of a tweet from Trudeau. So just bear with me here, folks. So even though we're of the meeting, and once again, just bear with me here. So just take a look at this tweet here, folks. So Justin Trudeau said like, congratulations, Pierre Poilievre have been elected leader of the Conservative Party tonight. As parliamentarians, we must work together to deliver results for people across the country. Canadians expect him to serve nothing less. And of course, here's what Viva Fry said. Laughing emoji. Your remaining time in office is limited. Enjoy what's left of it. The story of Canada. That's true, but to be honest with you here, folks, initially, well, I think sooner or later we're gonna find out if Justin Trudeau will initially um, dissolve the parliament and, of course, call for an election. We're gonna see it because obviously we know what happened last year, with the fact that, well, of course, Justin Trudeau didn't get what he wants, so he called for election, and well, basically, we're gonna see that. Yes, we're gonna see that. But of course, here's the one last one. So you just see the result of uh, so 68% of vote went to Pierre Poilievre, and well, obviously, well, yes, just like I said, just to repeat it. So Pierre Poilievre wins 6% of vote, which actually enough for him to be elected as the new leader of Conservative Party of Canada, and of course, actually got 16.7%, while Leslie Lewis got 9.69% of votes, while Roman Lover got 5.03%, while Scott Hutchison got 1.06%. So basically, 68.8% of votes went to Pierre Poilievre. So, of course, here, folks, this is it on the live coverage of the Conservative Party uh, leadership race result. And of course, have a great night here. Keep up the good fight here, keep fighting for one side. And of course, here, folks, um, more videos and more articles coming soon. I am trying my best to catch up with the deadlines, and of course, initially try to process uh, old videos that are overdue and new videos, and of course articles that are overdue and new articles. And of course, here, folks, well, until then, keep fighting for freedom, and once again, have a great night.